Hey y'all, welcome back to another Foodie Friday. This week we are looking at a TikTok video that I am not convinced had a tasty outcome, and I am willing to ruin a steak to find out. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, stick around, we'll be right back.
Hey, hey, let's just always get faded. Let's just always get faded. Yeah, hey.
Okay, so the video in question is this one.
Let's do it. All right, we start off with another prime steak, garlic, sage, rosemary, and this time we're gonna immerse it in clarified butter. I cooked this one in a 200-degree oven for roughly an hour. And we're gonna sear this off just as before, all sides, including that fat cap. We got a nice crust going, although I think my pan could have been hotter. You can slice right in, no rest needed. And you see, one of the beauties of this method is that your meat is evenly cooked throughout, coast to coast pink. We just finished this off with some flaky salt, and all that's left is to see how we did.
So what bothers me about this video is the cooking in the clarified butter. I know that confit is a really nice way to do meat. Cooking it at low temperatures in some kind of very flavorful fat. I just feel like clarified butter is going to be overly heavy and overly fatty for a piece of steak that's already pretty heavily marbled. I feel like doing this steak confit in butter is going to make it overly greasy and it's not really going to bring out the flavor of the meat. So, but I am going to do his preparation just about exactly the same. I'm not going to use sage just because I don't care for it. For some people, sage tastes a lot like soap. And I'm kind of one of those people. I can tolerate it to a certain level, and then it just tastes like soap to me. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to use rosemary and garlic. And I'm preparing the garlic right here. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so this is my rosemary. You can see it's fresh. We don't have to trim it or chop it or do anything like that. I've got some garlic here. I've got 1 clove peeled. I know he just cut the whole garlic bunch in half and put it in there. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually go ahead and peel this garlic, because here's the thing about cooking garlic confit is that the one thing about cooking garlic confit is that it gets nice and soft, and you can use it to spread on your bread later on. So it really is that easy to just peel garlic. All you want to do is get it to stop clinging to the clove, and just take a flat knife, pound on it. Yeah, it smushes the garlic a little bit, but that's kind of what you want. If you leave the cloves completely whole, and by the way, this is a clove, okay? If you leave the cloves completely whole, they will not release their wonderful aromatic flavor and benefits into the food that you're cooking. They're just going to sit there and get soft. And I know, so that you might be going, oh, hey, who are you to... You're not a professional chef. You're right. I'm not a professional chef. I did partly own a restaurant at one point in time, and I understand. I know kitchen safety, very versed with that. I know a lot of different techniques, but was I trained professionally? I wasn't. The dude that's in the video, I think he was. So you're right, I'm not a professional chef. I just love to cook, and I know a lot about cooking, and I've done a lot of studying. This technique, confit, am I familiar with it? No, I've seen it done. So I'm not that familiar with actually doing confit myself. In its purest form, confit is actually cooking the meat in its own fat in order to preserve it. So you've heard of duck confit. That's what that is. Well, then, you know, now that preservation isn't such an issue, and all I'm doing is just cutting these cloves in half. We discovered we could cook lots of things in duck fat, and they were delicious, not the least of which is potatoes. And although you wouldn't confit potatoes, the idea of doing the potatoes is like to make duck fat fries. Duck fat is really, really super rich and a great way to cook, you know, a great way to confit things. Butter is rich as well, but it's just rich in a different way. I just feel like this is going to be cloyingly fat tasting without any of the real benefit or the taste of the steak. I mean, does it look cool to have steak dripping butter? And I'm not trying to go in on this guy, like I don't know him. And I'm not trying to critique, so don't take it too seriously. I'm just saying that in my own personal opinion, I don't feel like this tasted as good as he made it out to taste. And of course everybody's looking at it and going, oh wow, you know, steak dripping butter, I bet that's delicious. Well, yeah, a lot of things dripping butter are delicious, and I'm not going to argue with that because I've eaten plenty of it. But I'm just not sure that steak is the thing, and that's what we're going to find out today. So next step, the meat. Okay, so this guy never said. He just says he has a piece of prime meat. He doesn't say exactly what cut it is. So I had my local butcher take a look at what he thought that cut of meat was, and he said based on the fact that it has like that fat rim on the outside of it, he thought it was probably ribeye steak. So that's what I have here today. I have USDA choice. This is an Angus custom cut ribeye, and it's about an inch thick. So here is that piece of steak, and we have, it's trimmed. He did say it's trimmed a little close, but we do have that fat running down the outside. Okay, so we've got the meat in the pan. We're gonna go, because this is a confit application, we kind of want a shallow pan. He had cut the whole flour in half and then put it on either side. I am just putting the garlic around the steak, because I think what he did then is with the greens, he just laid them on top. And honestly, I couldn't argue with his choice of greens. If you like sage, sage and rosemary go incredibly well together. Just ask Simon and Garfunkel. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Honestly, I have a rosemary grinder in which I have dried rosemary. I put that stuff on everything, like everyone does with auto tune. Like if I'm making roasted potatoes, you better believe there's rosemary going on it. If I'm making chicken, lamb, almost any meat, rosemary's going on it. So yeah, I cannot fault him for this choice. This is, if this cooks in the way that it should, then this will make an incredible flavor profile for this steak. My concern and my thought is that cooking in all that butter is just going to prevent any of this from soaking into the steak. And that's what we're here to find out. Okay, so this is what he cooked the steak in. Not this, but this. This is clarified butter. And you can see the difference. This is just some butter that I've melted down. The white stuff in there are milk solids, and that is what we do not want in this confit because they will burn ultimately. Clarified butter, you can purchase it as a product called ghee. It's available in Walmart in like the baking section, but it's probably also available in the international section because this is very commonly used in Indian food. So I don't quite have enough ghee, so we are going to clarify this butter just by straining out the milk solids, and then I think we'll have enough clarified butter to cook our steak. Okay, so I have poured my clarified butter that I did over the steak, and we are now pouring in the rest of the ghee to cover. Okay. My clarified butter wasn't as clarified as I would have liked it, but it was clear enough. Most of the milk solid's gone and so on. And this is what we are going to put in our 200 degree oven for an hour as per the video. Okay, so since we have a little bit of time, I'm not going to sit here and talk for an hour. I know you're disappointed. But I just thought we'd talk a little bit about what we're cooking. As usual, I usually talk a little bit about some ingredient that we're working with. I'm kind of eating because I haven't eaten all day. And I have already filmed this look. If you want to see it, it's in my Monday video, my BYOB video. And so we are cooking in there a ribeye. Ribeyes that you're used to seeing, like as big as your head, often about 2 inches thick. Those are the kind that are like your grade A, your restaurant versions, what have you. Ribeye comes from, thank you, Alton Brown. Right here is the rib of the steer. I always say cow, but I want to make it clear, we don't eat cows. We eat steers. Cows are very veiny and the meat isn't as good. So we eat steer because this, obviously it's full of natural hormones that the mother releases in order to lactate and in order to have calves, because if she doesn't have calves, she can't produce milk. So milk producing cows, meat producing steers. And what's a steer? What's the difference between a steer and a bull? A bull still has his testicles. Steers are castrated. They don't have their testicles, so they're raised to be a bit fatty, and the meat doesn't have a gamey taste that the testosterone being in the meat supposedly gives it. This is a weird thing, and I don't know if it's good or not. But when I see somebody making something, if they're making something that I am familiar with, everything in it is something I know about or am familiar with or have tried before, I can tell you how that's going to taste. I can taste things before I taste them. It's really odd. I've kind of always been able to do it, and very rarely ever been wrong on how something would taste. So when I want you to know I don't have anything against this guy. When I saw this video, I was like, that is going to be cloying. That is going to be disgustingly fatty. You're going to taste nothing but just butter and raw meat. That said, it isn't like I haven't been wrong before on seeing something get put together and then going, oh, that's going to taste a certain way, or, oh, I think that would be delicious, and then trying it and going, maybe not delicious, or going, I think that's going to be disgusting, and then trying it and going, wow, no, that's really good. This is a thing that they eat here in the South, frozen pickle juice. They'll eat like pickle sickles. Not even kidding. And not the sweet juice like you might think. It's dill pickle juice. And they freeze it and they eat it in the summertime. And I'm like, that would be gross. However, what I didn't know about, the commercial dill sickles or pickle sickles or whatever you want to call them, what I didn't know about that is they do add water. You're not just eating brine. So, to be fair, yes, they're sour, yes, they're dilly, but they're actually kind of delicious if you like dill pickles. A pickle sickle is a delicious thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I've always kind of been able to see something get put together, and as long as I've had everything that, and I know what it tastes like, I can kind of figure out in my head, oh, I know what that's going to taste like. And a few times I've been wrong. So this is one recipe where I'm kind of hoping that I'm wrong. For what we're doing here today, this steak is going to come out rare. Like medium rare. Like overdone to me. I had a friend once, I agree with him too. I prefer my steaks like blue rare as you can get them. If you show them a picture of a flame and then you put it on my plate, I'm fine with that. But I had a friend that said he liked his steak so rare that a skilled veterinarian could probably bring it back. And I can't disagree with that. Okay, I think it's time for us to get this steak out of the oven. MeatLikeMike, the poster on the TikTok poster, he said that he finished his he finished the steak in a pan, seared it off both sides, and then the fat part, the fat end that goes around the edge. And he said that his pan could have been hotter. So I've got a few minutes on getting this out of the oven. So I thought I would put my pan on now, put on high, as high as I can, and that way my pan will be super hot, and this pan is super hot. My other skepticism was about the temperature that we were at in the oven at 200, but let me tell you, you can really smell this. But this doesn't look anything like his steak, but you can really smell that. You can really smell that rosemary and garlic, and we're going straight into this pan. I'm going to turn this over. I'd like to see what happens, but that's a great sear. Okay, we're going to pick this up. We're going to get that edge on there. Oh, let's cut into this steak. I'm really, really kind of nervous. Kind of nervous, kind of not. Okay, let's see how we've done. All right. Start here, I guess. Oh my gosh. Okay. There is a bit of fat that goes down through this steak anyway, so we're just gonna go with it. I don't... Okay. Do you see this? I don't... Okay, like, look at that. That's freaking amazing. That's beautifully done. Basically like a medium, which is fine. Okay, but my issue was like soaked in all that butter. Is that even any good? So what he said was to finish it off with a little bit of salt. I have some Mediterranean sea salt. We're just gonna go across like that. I am pretty flabbergasted. This is incredibly tender, and I'm a little floored. I'm a little floored that this is so tender. All right, it's not dripping butter like his was at all, but there it is. You can see that. All right. Alright. All that shit I was talking in the beginning, forget that. This has an amazing fresh grilled taste. It's incredibly moist. Obviously a great cut of meat, but it's but it's very tender. It's super tender. And no, it's not greasy at all. This is fantastic. This is a great method. Excellent. Congratulations, Mike. That is fantastic. This steak is amazing. I'm so glad. I'm so happy that it came out good. Keep going, Mike. Love your videos. And I hope wherever you guys are, you're having a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, or a great night. And take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Be kind. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Ey, ey, let's just get faded. Let's just get faded. Yeah.